Okay, so we all know how the orthographic camera looks. So I've been racking my brain on how to make top-down games look good. So we could throw that orthocam in the garbage and set up your levels for a perspective camera. So this is all of our art. You can use any of your art. All of these assets are free. Just click the link below. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open paper2d, go to tile map, and just name it whatever you want. So I'm gonna do pers map. Call it whatever you like. So bring it in. I like to scale it up by 4. It's up to you though, how big your character is, how big your art is, all that. But you want to make it rotate on the x-axis by 270 degrees. Then what you do here, just go ahead and save. And what we're going to do is you can right click here, or you can right click in the actual content browser. But anytime you can right click and do edit the tile map. And so I'm just going to make this map width 10 by 10. So it just makes it nice and big for us so we can have plenty of examples. We have our first layer here. And so what we're going to do is bring up a tile sheet. And all of these already have collisions. Let's see. Let me test. So you want to make sure, okay, yeah. So whenever you add a collision, you just click on a box and then add box, but this one already has it, so I'm just gonna undo. If you see this blue box here with the 4 corners, that means that you have the collision. Also, one thing you could do is click colliding tiles. You can see here that everything has a collision except for these little spikes, because I didn't really need to make them. But I can do it real quick. So add box, it adds a box here. You can click on this line, move the whole thing down. So then your feet collide, and this will be in front of you. Alright, so let's go back here. That's not the right map. So you go to the map that you just created. What you could do is push G for fill. You could also push this icon right here and push that. Boom, we got an orange floor. I'm actually gonna make it more leaves because I like that, it looks prettier. Alright, so after that, I'm just gonna rename this layer to ground. Sweet, so we renamed the layer. I'm gonna change the material to masked lit sprite material, so that way you can add lights and it'll look really, really pretty. So it's super dark right now. That's just because we need to add a light. So one thing you could do here is go to lights, directional light, and then that'll just light everything up. So while you're making your level, everything will be lit up bright. You can also change the color if you want to any color you like. It'll affect all the objects in your scene. We got everything nice and bright, ready to go. Alright, let's add some walls, right? That's what we're here for. So let's add a layer, which is this one. Control-Shift-N, or you can click this little plus with the arrow on top. Layer 2, I'm going to call this walls. Rename. I'm going to do wall B for wall bottom. So you want to be able to go in front of this, right? So this will be the walls who will walk on top. So let's just do this as an example. So wall B, and we'll add one more layer and call it wall T for wall top. So these are the walls that are actually going to be on top of your player. Actually, I'm going to do this. So, perfect. So, and then we're gonna make the separation per layer 4. So let's make it 5, just for an example. BP player. So how the player is set up right now, he's completely flat with the collision, but he is up a little bit. So let's go ahead and move him down. I'm also gonna change his material to masked lit sprite. Then again, he will be able to be lit up, and we're just fine. Alright, perfect. So I moved him just a little bit lower, just so he collides the floor here. I can even go lower, just so he doesn't clip. Perfect. So as you can see, these layers are separated. You can kind of see like how high they go up. So let's do player start. Alright, let's move him down. Alright, so as you can see here, the capsule isn't completely on the floor. And you can see as you go up, it's still, so like when you bring in your character, he will spawn on top of everything, which you don't want. So what you can do, actually I'll show you real quick. Why is it so close? Hold on. Oh, that's why. Spring arm. Okay, let's move it back. Let's do 8,000 or 7,000. Still very far. Let's move the FOV down to 15. This is pretty good. Alright, so as you can see, you're not stopping when you're running into this wall, and you're also not underneath it when you need to be underneath it. That is because the collision for the floor tile is too big. So what you can do is go here, and you click on the ground layer, and you can override the collision thickness, and I'm just going to change it to 1. So that means it's nice and skinny, but you can still walk on top of it. So as you can see, you can move it down, and the bad size doesn't happen until you actually collide with the floor. Maybe a little bit of a buffer, but you can even like shorten that. But 1 does perfectly fine. So here, as you can see, you're underneath this, so you can decrease the layer just a little bit. Also, I am going to fix the collisions. So I'm going to change this collision to be down here. So I'm just going to click on this, move it down. Hopefully they're kind of roughly in the same space. Yeah, so then we can actually go behind it and it'll look proper. Alright. So now let's change the separation per layer to maybe 3. So now you can see the layers are a little smaller, but this comes up a bit. So let's show you. Alright, so you can see I'm still behind it, but if you go up here, you're behind it. So we're close. We're almost there. We just need to make it to where you actually go in front down here instead of behind. So what you could do is you can either raise your character or you can make the separation layer just a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually raise the character. I want to see how far I can do. Perfect. Yeah, look at this. Awesome. Now let's go up here. Perfect. Now the reason why I'm in front of this is because there's no collisions. But this is perfect. For example purposes, I'm going to fix this issue. I am just going to have it. Let's do... Okay, perfect. And then I'm just going to bring down these collisions just a tiny bit just to make sure there's no chance of you going in between. So I'm just going to bring up the wall. And I'm going to place... I'm actually going to delete these two. And then wall top, bring that up here, move these down here, just like that. So now, when you go into your perspective world, you go in front of it when you're supposed to go in front of it, and then behind it when you're supposed to be behind it. Lights in orthographic cameras are very finicky and broken. Let's add in a spotlight and make it purple. Just to kind of add like a glowing effect, you know? So directional light, let's dim it. Let's make it like this. 0.6, that's good. So you can customize this however you want. I just wanted to bring this up for example. One thing you could do too, if you don't want this tiny screen and you don't want to move things around, what you could do is come up here, click the hamburger button, and then you could do new editor window. There you go. And here you are, behind and in front when you should be. Just the only thing that's kind of a pain in the butt is to make sure that you draw on the correct layer. That is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you want to see next.